Yes.
Sure. Dabali amateksi.
Hayi no sikhathele i-strike zakhona. Hayi all right.
Sokubona cause.
Okay sis. Morning, morning, Casey. Wakey, wakey. Vuka, ntombazana. Let's go.
Susan? Are you going to come see me in my play?
When is your play?
Friday. I'm Mama Timber and you're going to sing for my wedding.
Mama Timber's getting
married tonight.
You see, I know the song. Yes, I'll come.
You pinky promise?
I promise.
You have to kiss it. Not like that, like this.
Show me. Okay. What?
You see, now we made a promise.
Yep, I did. Now I want you to go and show me how good you look in your shul clothes. Okay?
Morning, Sue.
Morning, Cookie.
We're not taking Ari to shul, so his bottle's in the fridge.
Mom, can you feel my necklace?
You cannot wear that necklace to shul. It's for your school play, Cassie.
But I want to.
I know you want to, but I'll keep it safe. Give it to me. Cassie! Okay, boy. Go to Sue. Go.
Okay. Come, boy. Got you.
Okay, that's it. Bring them here.
He break it.
Sue, we might be a little bit late from shul, so if you could start setting the table.
Cookie, could I go home early today? Tabiso won an award at school, so I promised him to celebrate with him.
Oh, that's wonderful, Sue. Congratulations. You can go as soon as we come home from shul. Is that okay?
Yeah, thanks.
All right. There's leftovers in the fridge, so please take whatever you want. Does he still like nachi so much?
He loves them.
Okay, they're on the table. Take some.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, boy.
Say bye, mommy.
Yes.
Can you fix it for me, please? It can't work.
Hello, yeah. Sipho kunjani?
Hello, ngiyaphi?
Uthabisa ke khona lapho nawo?
Uthabisa ngamboni.
Okay. No, ukuthi ngiyamfuna ngimthole. Yazi ngicela ukuthi umtshele ukuthi ngiyamfuna ngifonele, ne?
Okay, ma ngizomtshela.
All right, ngiyabonga. You never do that to me, right? Yeah. Yeah, you're going to sleep, huh? Bye. Bye-bye.
uxabane nokhathalo nabangani bakhe izolo.
Thabiso akaxabani namuntu.
Bekwatile ma badlala isnooker waluza. Mbulele.
Did Pinky promise?
I promise.
Kiss it.
Okay.
Welcome to episode 3, Just a City or a Just City. Domestic workers often commute from informal settlements like Stjwetla to suburbs like Kelvin. Their special journey reflects apartheid legacies riddled with long, unsafe trips with poor infrastructure, exposing how planning continues to marginalize.
Single mothers face similar constraints with schools, clinics, and jobs often located far apart. They spend hours commuting and sacrificing time that could be spent parenting or even resting. This leads us to the next concept of time poverty.
Time poverty isn't just about being busy. It's about having no choice in how time is spent. If a domestic worker takes 2 taxis, walks 15 minutes, and does a 10-hour shift, where is the space for her own life?
Women's quality of life is impacted by the planning of urban spaces and infrastructure. If majority of caretakers are women in society, then planning requires a gender-sensitive and gender-responsive approach. So, Nothando, we've delved into a couple of issues since the first episode up till now, and we speak about this gender-responsive or gender-sensitive planning. What do you think are some of the things that we can do or implement within planning to bring about this gender-sensitive or gender-responsive approach?
There's quite a lot we can actually do. Let's look at what we have already done and what more we can do.
Definitely, there's international best practice. There's countries that have already explored around gender-sensitive planning and approaches, and we can also look at some of the local examples, if any. But let's have a look.
So cities can and should be designed for everyone. As Jane Jacobs put it, cities have the capability of providing something for everyone, only because and only when they are created by everybody. Traditionally, transport systems, town planning and public spaces were designed by men for men. Not intentionally, but because they assumed that what was good for them would probably be good for everyone else as well. This has resulted in cities that work best for those who work full-time and have no unpaid caregiving roles. And this group does consist of all genders, but data shows that men make up the majority of this group. To address this, I believe we need to start applying gender mainstreaming to our work. So gender-sensitive design sits under the wider concept of gender mainstreaming, which involves applying a gender lens to all policies, planning, budgeting decisions and design projects. In other words, rather than assuming that all actions and decisions will affect genders equally, we intentionally analyse the potential effects on different genders. In Vienna in 1997, the first housing development designed around the needs of women was implemented through a commission where only female architects were invited to respond. At this time, female architects weren't being invited to submit proposals for housing developments. So the key objective of the design was for it to support women in their caregiving tasks and their housework and family chores. So it achieved this in a number of ways. They selected a site that's close to public transport and amenities. A childcare and doctor's surgery was integrated into the development. It has a car-free central space, keeping it safe for children. Car zones prioritise pedestrians, and children's play spaces were also integrated into the development. So following this, other similar developments also continued, and now every housing development in Vienna must meet women's needs. The European Union published a policy note in 2014 called Gender Equality and Mobility Mind the Gap. The policy note recognises that transport policies should be adapted to support women's mobility needs, and that improving accessibility, safety and comfort of transportation modes are key to this. The policy note proposes that meeting women's transport needs will also support more environmentally friendly development due to women being more likely to adopt sustainable travel behaviours. And this is also supported by research in New Zealand. Well, there are pink taxis dedicated to women at night at discounted rates, and female-only parking areas that are accessible, well-lit and near exits. For those using public transport, a wide range of systems have been incorporated, such as reducing the distance women need to walk at night by allowing buses to stop between bus stops, making it free to ride public transport if you have a pushchair, and providing frequent services where women don't have to wait too long for public transport to show up. And for walkers and cyclists, the need is recognised for separated cycleways, a shift of priorities for slower road users, and a close-knit, walkable and barrier-free network. All these initiatives make it easier and safer for people to travel around their towns and cities, and women report greater safety concerns and stronger preferences for separated cycleways. This makes sense when you look at these photos, that a parent with a child is unlikely to bike on a busy street, but is much more likely to take a child on a separated cycleway. The city of Vienna redesigned 2 parks to align them better to girls' interests and to raise feelings of safety in the park. This was based on research by female planning experts and sociologists. They created some smaller spaces and introduced seating areas for girls to hang out with friends, areas to play informal games and observe other activities. The result of this was increased participation of girls in public spaces, and the city is now applying this strategy in all 23 districts of its city. The ability for girls to travel safely to these spaces further impacts on their participation in parks and playgrounds. There are plenty of design guides and guidance documents out there to assist us in incorporating gender mainstreaming into our everyday work. They contain criteria and other guidance to assist us with design, planning and policy development to ensure they're appropriate to all genders. Digital platforms such as SafetyPin and Free2Be allow women to use apps to pinpoint precisely where they feel safe, unsafe and why. They are increasingly useful for local governments as they merge traditional accepted strategies with a gender lens. Free2Be facilitated a youth-led safety walk in Sydney in 2018. The girls took key stakeholders in a walk around the city and led activities based on young women's stories. This was really useful in helping participants identify how their work can influence the experiences of women and girls. Gender budgeting identifies expenditure that is likely to have a positive or negative effect on a particular gender. Other funding decisions that can affect genders differently include the types of transport infrastructure that's prioritised, levels of travel subsidies, levels of funding to upgrade streets and public space, which neighbourhoods are prioritised, and which types of recreation facilities are prioritised. Gender-responsive procurement is the selection of services, goods and civil works that consider their impact on gender equality and women's empowerment. An example of this would be the commissioning of housing developments in Vienna, where historically female architects weren't being invited to submit proposals. Once women were not only invited to submit proposals, but were also leading this process, it had a significant positive impact on the way cities and housing developments were planned and designed for everybody. Gender mainstreaming needs to be applied across all functions at both central and local government levels, right through to private developments. This includes policy and strategy, transport services, urban design, public spaces, public safety, funding and budgeting, and many others. The more data we can draw on, particularly from our own towns and cities, the greater position we will be in to make the best planning and design decisions and to be able to justify them. Planning, policy, strategy and design have a huge impact on the safety, accessibility and inclusivity of our cities. So it's vital that gender mainstreaming practices be incorporated at all levels to enable the positive impacts to flow down to the day-to-day lives of our residents.
That is a lot to think about. We can just look at these examples and see how we can best fit them within our local context within South Africa to make sure that we also have a gender responsive and a gender sensitive approach to urban planning. Well, we have reached the end of our episode. We look forward to seeing you again in the next one.
you.